The 5 things seniors must rely on instead of family for happiness, health, and peace. What if the one thing you always believed would be there, your family, simply wasn't after 70? The biggest shock isn't what changes, it's what slowly vanishes. The calls stop, the visits fade. You make excuses for them. They're just busy, you say. You nod and smile when others ask. But deep down, you feel the silence growing. And late at night, when the house is still and no one checks in, a painful truth settles in your chest. I raised them. But they don't really need me anymore. And maybe I won't be able to count on them when I need them most. No one warns you about this part of aging. Not the doctors, not the brochures. But I will, because I've lived it. And I made this video to tell you the truth, and more importantly, to help you feel strong again. If this resonates with you, please subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us keep creating real tools for living with strength and dignity after 70. Now, let me ask you, if a crisis hit tomorrow, who would you call? A family member, B, no one. You've learned to rely on yourself. Comment A or B below. And now, let's talk about the very first strength you can build, starting today. I didn't realize it all at once. It happened slowly, almost too quietly to notice. One day, the calls from my son stopped coming every week, then every month. Before I knew it, birthdays came and went without so much as a voicemail. My younger brother, who used to call me on Sunday afternoons, forgot my anniversary. And my oldest friend, the one I thought would always be around, moved to Arizona to be closer to her grandchildren. I told myself these were just small things. Life gets busy, people get distracted. But deep down, something didn't feel small at all. It felt like the world was turning without me. You see, no one tells you how lonely aging can be. Not just the kind of loneliness where the house is quiet, but the kind where you start to wonder if anyone still sees you. You become background noise in the very lives you helped build. And that realization, it doesn't come gently. It hits hard, and it hits when you're most vulnerable. At first, I waited. I thought they'll come around, but weeks passed. Then months. And finally, I stopped waiting. Not out of bitterness, but out of necessity. I realized that the love people have for you isn't always enough to guarantee they'll be there when you need them most. Not because they don't care, but because they're caught in their own storms. And I couldn't afford to stand in the rain hoping someone would bring me an umbrella. That's when I stopped expecting someone to rescue me and started rebuilding from the inside out. This video isn't about giving up on family. It's about recognizing that family support fades not always by intention, but by life. And the more we cling to what used to be, the more we suffer. So instead, I learned to invest in the supports I could count on. Quiet things, steady things, things that don't disappear when the phone doesn't ring. I began choosing strength over waiting, clarity over hope, and movement both physical and emotional over stillness. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Because when you stop needing people to show up in order to feel safe, that's when you begin to truly feel free. And that freedom, it starts in the most surprising place, your legs. Let me show you why. It began with my legs. Or more honestly, with the morning, I realized they no longer moved the way they used to. I sat on the edge of my bed, looked down and felt hesitation. Just getting up felt like a negotiation between willpower and fear. I wasn't sick. I wasn't hurt. But something had changed. My confidence was gone, and I didn't know how or when it had left. That moment woke me up, because losing your mobility doesn't happen all at once. It creeps in while you're sitting too long, while you're telling yourself you'll stretch tomorrow, while the weather's bad or your knees ache, or there's simply no reason to go out today. But here's what no one talks about when your legs weaken. It's not just your body that suffers, it's your spirit. Your world starts to shrink. You stop going to the store. You pass on invitations. You start organizing your life around what you can't do until one day you realize you've built a cage out of your own stillness. I didn't want that to be my story. So I made one promise to myself: move every day, even just a little. I started small. I stood up slower, but I stood. I stretched while the coffee brewed. I walked 5 minutes outside, then 7, then 10. I dusted off an old resistance band and used it while watching TV. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't impressive, but it was consistent. And slowly, my legs responded, not like they did in my 40s, but enough to make me feel like I had choices again. I remember meeting a man named David, 79, walking laps at the community park with a cane. I asked what kept him going. He looked me square in the eye and said, "The day I stop moving is the day I start depending, and I'm not ready to give up my freedom." That stayed with me, because he was right. Physical strength after 70 isn't about showing off. It's about showing up for your own life. It's about being able to get to the bathroom at 2 a.m. without falling, to make your own breakfast, to leave the house without dreading every step. And the most powerful part, mobility gives you back more than function. It gives you back confidence. Confidence that you can take care of yourself, that you're not a burden, that you are still in motion. And once you have that, the next step is to remove another weight, the one that lives quietly in your finances. Let me tell you what I learned. The more I regained control of my body, the more I began to notice something else weighing me down, something invisible, but just as heavy. It was the stress I carried every time I opened my mailbox, the silent anxiety I felt when I couldn't remember if I had paid a bill, the way I hesitated before using my credit card, not because I was overspending, but because I no longer felt sure of what was going on with my own money. That uncertainty, it eats away at your peace, not because of the numbers, but because of the not knowing. And at this stage in life, I've learned that what we don't know often hurts more than what we do. I remember one afternoon in early spring, sitting at my kitchen table with a stack of envelopes and a cup of cold coffee. There were bank statements, subscription notices, confusing summaries from my health insurance, and at least 2 bills I thought I'd already paid. I stared at it all, feeling small, ashamed even. How had something as basic as money become so hard to manage? That was the day I made a different kind of promise to myself. No more chaos, no more confusion. I was going to simplify not just for my budget, but for my mind. I began with a notebook and a pen, wrote down what came in, what went out, and what wasn't necessary anymore. I canceled subscriptions I didn't use, closed 2 credit cards. I even downsized my phone plan. And slowly, month by month, I began to feel something I hadn't felt in a long time: clarity. That clarity gave me more than savings. It gave me confidence. I met a woman named Teresa, 76, who told me she keeps a jar on her kitchen shelf labeled Freedom Fund. She adds $5 or $10 whenever she can. It's not much, but it's hers. Every time I drop a bill in, she told me, I remember I'm still in charge of my life. That stuck with me. Because financial simplicity isn't about giving things up. It's about gaining something far greater: peace of mind. When your money is clear, your thoughts are clearer. You sleep better, you walk lighter, and you stop needing someone else to untangle your world for you. Taking back control of your finances isn't about wealth. It's about freedom. And once you feel that freedom, you'll realize it's time to protect it by caring for the body and mind that carries you through each day. That starts with what you do over and over again. Let me explain. When the noise of financial stress finally faded, I noticed something even quieter had been slipping away my rhythm. Not just my energy, but my sense of structure, my sense of self. The truth is, when your days have no shape, your confidence begins to blur. It's not sudden, it happens gently, and then all at once. You forget to take your pills on time, meals become whatever's easy. A short walk becomes optional. Before long, you're not living the day, you're drifting through it. That's when I realized how much I relied on the simple routines I once took for granted. Not as chores, but as anchors. They were the invisible threads holding everything together. So I started rebuilding quietly without telling anyone. At 6:30 every morning, I boiled water for tea. While it steeped, I did a few stretches by the window. I laid out my medication next to my breakfast. I listened to the same calming song before bed. These weren't grand gestures, but they reminded me that my health wasn't something I had to chase. It was something I could respect. I remember meeting Manuel, a retired school principal from Valencia. He told me my doctor gave me pills, but my routine is what saved me. Every day, same hour, same walk. He said it taught his body to trust him again. That line stayed with me. Because the body doesn't just respond to medicine, it responds to consistency. And so does the mind. When we create structure, even the smallest one, we remove the chaos of decision fatigue. We stop asking, should I do this today? And we start simply doing it. Some days I feel slow, some days I skip a step. But the point isn't perfection, it's presence. Showing up for yourself again and again until your body believes you won't abandon it. Routine doesn't just keep you healthy, it keeps you connected to your purpose, to your rhythm, and to your own worth. And when your health feels like it's in your hands again, you begin to believe deep down that you are still the one steering the ship. But to stay strong through life's storms, physical rhythm isn't enough. You'll need a different kind of strength, the kind that lives deep in your heart, especially when no one else is around. Some days, no matter how strong your body feels or how organized your life becomes, a heaviness still finds its way in. It shows up when the house is too quiet, when a memory drifts in uninvited, when someone forgets your name, or worse, forgets your place in their life. That's when you realize the hardest battles aren't outside, they're the ones happening silently inside your chest. I've had mornings where I couldn't explain the sadness. I had slept well, eaten, even taken my walk, but my heart felt tired. That kind of weariness doesn't come from doing too much. It comes from feeling too much. And no routine, no savings, no stretching can touch it. That's where emotional resilience steps in. Not the kind of toughness we were taught as children. Not bottling things up. I'm talking about the quiet kind. The kind that lets you cry and still get up. The kind that sits with grief and whispers, "You're allowed to feel this, but it won't break you." I once met a woman named Sophia who had lost her husband after 52 years of marriage. Every evening, she lit a single candle at the dinner table, not in mourning, but in honor. It reminds me, she told me, that I made it through another day. That's resilience, not pretending to be okay, but learning to stand even when you're not. And when you build that strength, when you stop depending on others to soothe your storms, you become free in a way that no loss, no absence, no silence can ever take from you. Because the strongest support you'll ever know is the one that lives quietly inside your own heart. There came a moment when I asked myself a question I hadn't considered in years. Who am I now when no one's watching? Not a parent giving advice, not a spouse sharing responsibilities, not a worker with deadlines, just me. It's a strange kind of silence when the roles that once defined you begin to fade. For a while, I felt lost, like I was floating without a map. But over time, I discovered something steadier than any title my values. The quiet code I lived by, even when no one else noticed. These weren't rules written in stone. They were choices I returned to when life got confusing. Speak honestly, even when it's uncomfortable. Show up on time. Listen more than I talk. Say thank you. Take care of what I borrow. Small things, simple things, but they shaped who I was. I once met Ricardo, 82, at a community garden. He had a routine of picking up trash, even if he hadn't dropped it. When I asked why, he said, "Because my values don't change depending on who's watching." That sentence anchored itself in my memory. You see, a personal code gives your life direction when the world around you starts shifting. It helps you make decisions without second-guessing. It keeps your head clear when people disappoint you. And it gives you peace, not because life is perfect, but because you know you stayed true to yourself. We don't always get to choose what happens to us in our later years, but we can always choose how we show up. And when you live by your own compass, the world may shake, but you don't. That, to me, is the deepest kind of strength, and the one we take with us, even when everything else is gone. After everything I've shared with you today, one truth rises above the rest. The strongest support we have in this life doesn't come from others, it comes from within. It's easy to believe we're at the mercy of who shows up for us, who calls, who remembers. But as we grow older, we start to see that peace, strength, and dignity don't depend on other people. They depend on the way we care for our body, our mind, our spirit, and our values. Maybe your children don't visit as often as you hoped. Maybe your friends have moved away. Maybe your energy isn't what it used to be. But even so, you are not powerless. You are not invisible. And you are certainly not done. Every small act you take to move your body, to manage your money, to care for your health, to protect your emotional well-being, and to live by your own code, these are not just habits. They are declarations. They say, I am still here. I still matter. I still choose how I live. The lesson I've learned is this: you don't need to wait for the world to show up for you. You can show up for yourself. And that choice made quietly daily without applause is what leads to real freedom after 70. So today, ask yourself, which of these 5 supports have you already built? And which one needs your attention now? To help us all grow together, I'd love to hear from you. Which area do you want to strengthen most in your life right now? A physical mobility B, emotional resilience. Please leave your answer in the comments below. I read every one of them, and your voice might be the encouragement someone else needs to hear today. If this video spoke to you, I invite you to subscribe and share it with someone you care about. And if you'd like to support our work, consider donating. Your kindness helps us keep creating thoughtful, honest content for our growing community. Thank you for being here. You matter more than you know.